Okay, good morning everyone and welcome to our third Masterclass webinar. I hope you are feeling a touch of excitement for our topic today, which is launching new functionality and creating hype. My name is Daniel Basile and with me today is my colleague Claudia, who has just come back from a lovely holiday in the Hayman Islands. Hello Claudia.
Hi Daniel, morning.
So both Claudia and I are consultants within the digital HR team here at Future Knowledge, and between the two of us we have had over 20 successful cornerstone implementations and optimization projects. So as a result of this we've been able to gain some handy tips and tricks that we've learned along the way, which we would like to share with all of you. So let's have a look at what we're going to be talking about today. So in this webinar we're going to take a look at what are some of the biggest names in technology doing when it comes to new product releases and what we can learn from them, deciding on what to release and when to release it, planning and delivering the communications of that release, and also looking at ways to build hype and get people to have that feeling that this is going to be awesome, really looking forward to new functionality being pushed out and then gaining that support for your talent management system. And lastly, how to keep the hype going and what to do following the release is after it's deployed. So when we talk about launching new functionality or new releases, we should look at the ways that this has been mastered in our life outside of work from some of the biggest and best companies around today. And here are just some of those biggest technology vendors in the world today. Although some of these vendors keep releasing gadgets, like my phone, which has a battery life of about 5 minutes, the one thing though that they have got right is their approach to creating hype and a fan base for their new products and features. The technology giants have mastered a common communications plan that they basically reuse over and over again, which might look a little something like this. So it starts off with a keynote event. Keynotes are a form of communication to their users. Looking at these vendors' keynotes, I've noted that their structure is all very similar. So usually the CEO of the company comes out on stage and welcomes the attendees to an event. They then provide some statistics showing them where they've come from, and they thank the people that have attended, that it was because of you that all this has happened. They then go through why they're all here today with a statement along the lines of, we're going to make your life better in some way. They then showcase the new features or products by identifying how it can be incorporated into your current lifestyle. And that's usually done through a marketing video and then a live demonstration. And lastly, at this point, we're all super excited about this new product, this new Oculus VR product. And they let us know when it will be available, when we can start registering our interest, which is usually very soon, like usually in the next week or month, so they don't make you wait a very long time after that. So I wonder if you remember the Silhouette iPod ads from over 10 years ago. Do you remember how popular they were? These ads worked so well for Apple because they promoted that the iPod wasn't just a gadget, but a lifestyle choice. As a kid, I remember watching these ads on TV and believing that I needed this product in my life. I already had a Discman, which worked perfectly fine, apart from the disc jumping up and down and skipping a little bit when you would decide to go for a run or something. But after this ad came out, I needed to have those white earbuds. I needed to have an iPod because this was just going to make my life so much better. It was going to mean I didn't have to have discs. I could listen to my music within the palm of my hand, in my pocket, wherever I wanted, whenever I wanted, and yeah, I just didn't have to change discs. It was a big wow. I had to have this in my life. This advertisement was simple but effective. It achieved its purpose and it built a need for this item in my life. While all this keynoting and advertisement is going on for the current functionality that's been pushed out, these big companies are already thinking about what's coming next and designing and prototyping what will be released for the future releases. And they also brand their releases. So like this one here, which is Android 7.0, it's branded. It gets people talking about a release. People can relate to it and they can easily identify it. And yeah, this is more of a larger major release that you would brand, and then they can also have their patches in between, so like Android 7.1 or iOS 10.1, which are a little bit more irregular in between the major releases. So with this, you start to see a continuous hype model forming. So right here is a great example of a really good release management strategy. We know it's good because these big companies are using it right now. So if we adapt this to our talent management software releases, we start from the top in the orange box there by keeping up to date with the regular releases from Cornerstone and improvements that you can make to current functionality in your system. So being transparent and documenting what you want to release as a major update and just as a patch in between is the next step. And then developing a communications plan is needed to help organise when items should be deployed out to users. We then action our communications through channels and then provide some sort of preview and train users on the new functionality before finally deploying it out. We then start this whole process over again, and I guess it could be argued that that regular monitoring actually happens while this is all going on. So it just keeps going around in the circle, and that hype for new functionality in the system just keeps being generated. So the desired end result for these big companies is really no secret. They want us all to buy their products or adopt their updates to existing products. By taking this approach, you're essentially building a fan base for your releases. People begin to talk about branded releases and look forward to them coming. It also gives people assurance that things are constantly being improved, and if I don't like something today, it could be fixed tomorrow. So at this point, some of you might be wondering how on earth are we supposed to get our users to be excited about Cornerstone releases? It's much easier for, if you're thinking it's much easier for a Google, Apple, or Samsung because they've got really cool products, just let me remind you that Samsung just made a phone that basically sets on fire in your pocket, but there's still many of us out there that still can't wait to see what they come out with next because we're just fanboys of that product. So communication and adoption is key to a successful rollout of new functionality in Cornerstone. So let's unpack this a little bit. So in our first webinar, we discussed the 5 things that you should be doing as a Cornerstone administrator. One of those 5 things is around release management. So if you haven't seen that one, it's really good. Head to our website, futureknowledge.com.au, and under the events tab, you can then go and view all the videos of past webinars. But this is really a really good one to watch if you haven't checked it out already. So for Cornerstone specifically, there are 4 major releases a year, which you would already know. The first webinar will walk you through how to keep on top of these releases and the Cornerstone roadmap. So in addition to keeping on top of the releases, it's important to note that you don't have to follow Cornerstone's rolling roadmap exactly. For some things you may, and things like when you're monitoring the roadmap and the release notes, if it does state that it's going to be pushed out, then you'll have to adopt them and manage them differently. But for the things that are a little bit bigger that you have the option to turn on at your own pace, that might be something that you put into your own rolling roadmap a little bit further on down the track. So my point here you don't have to follow Cornerstone's rolling roadmap exactly. So, for example, your release may include updates to current functionality or ways of working by enabling a new dashboard, creating certain groups or a new community in Connect. You might have a new email digest go out. So it's things that are already there that you're improving on that you can actually include inside your own specific release schedule. And a really good idea is to give employees the ability to voice their suggestions on how to improve the experience of the system. If employees can see that their suggestions are being heard and being worked on by having a visible rolling roadmap, it does build that excitement that this system has the potential to get better. So while keeping up to date with the Cornerstone releases and looking for the optimization opportunities with the current configuration of your system, it's good to document these in a simple rolling roadmap, much like Cornerstone's rolling roadmap, which is found in the Success Center, shown on the left side of the screen here. So this is really easy to do. It shows what you're currently about to push out, what you're looking at, and what you're working with at the moment, and what you're currently testing for new functionality. So it does build that hype because people are able to go here and see what's going to be released in the future. If people don't see this, there's no way of building that hype because it just comes out as a surprise. So if you haven't had a look at Cornerstone's rolling roadmap, download it and have a look at it, and I encourage you to build your own rolling roadmap specific to your organization. So for those businesses with Connect or thinking about Connect in the future, you can make the rolling roadmap visible through a Connect community. And you can share release notes and walkthroughs in a community totally dedicated to the talent management system. So if you have a look in the bottom right-hand corner there, I've created a Connect community for our Stratus portal, which is our testing portal. And that's got everything to do with the portal in general. So we've got in there some quick reference guides to some new functionality that we've released. The release roadmap can be found in there. You can voice your opinions and your suggestions on what to improve and then hope that they get included into the roadmap. We can have walkthrough videos, much like the keynotes that we see in the big companies. We could have them housed in there, and as well as release notes, so for a more in-depth description of what's changing in the system. If you don't have Connect, you can still send out a login message to users and have relevant messages sent to specific groups in the organization as well. The cool thing about the login message idea is that you can put hyperlinks in there, so you can link out to release notes if you have a custom page of release notes, or if you do have a Connect community, you could also link out to the Connect community release notes to get more information on what's changing. So once you've identified what new functionality and current functionality optimizations you would like to release, you'll find it helpful to plan your communications to the users and have a standard approach, even for the large releases and for the little ones in between as well. So our resident expert of the comms plan at Future Knowledge is Jo Luck. Jo is a senior consultant within the strategy and technology adoption team, and her piece of advice when it comes to technology change is that people will always want to know what's in it for me. So the information you have to have in your comms plan will need to address that question. So Jo says that you need the following 5 pieces of information within your comms plan to address the what's in it for me question. The first being the audience. So who will be impacted? To what extent will that audience be impacted? You also need to identify the purpose. So why is this initiative important? What will the new technology or new functionality help you or your organization to achieve? How does it align to our strategic business goals? How will it make your job easier? How will it better help us to deliver and make our work lives better? So that's going back to that iPod ad, that silhouette ad, which was so simple, but it made me feel like I needed this. This is going to make my life a lot better. What messages, what do people need to know or do, setting the expectations. Messages need to be tailored to the audience as well. And we'll look at some of the things you can do with messages just a little bit later on. The frequency, so when do people need to know about certain things? How much lead time does an activity need? And also the channels, so what are the most effective methods of getting messages out there? And we're not just talking about email, so leveraging existing comms channels and the influencers or respected individuals within your organization, using them too. So when actioning the comms plan, you'll want to build a hype around your release to get users to buy into it and actually use it. Because if you don't have users using the system or using the new functionality, you've basically wasted your time. So I spoke with Matt Smith, the CEO of Pure Learning, recently and asked him how his team built hype through the amazing communications they developed. Matt's advice is to use FOMO. FOMO is the fear of missing out. So use that to your advantage by showing users what they are missing out on. If they don't get on board with the change, it will surely make them want to have it. The way we do this, we can, both Pure Learning and Future Knowledge have found a lot of success with teasers. So these provide a hint at what is to come and creates that curiosity and desire. It gets people to start asking questions. They want to know when it's coming. And these don't always have to have screenshots of the system, or it doesn't have to have anything to do with the actual functionality. It could be just a simple message. We've used little animations, totally not showing anything in the system, but it just gets people to build that curiosity before the release gets pushed out. One of the biggest mistakes that people make is that they focus on the features and not the benefits, and this is what I can't stress more out of this webinar. We can see that with the big companies, they're focusing on how this is going to make your work life better, or how you need this change in your life. The fear of missing out, so you're not missing out on this new functionality. You want to have those white earbuds in to look like everyone else, I guess. So people don't care about the new functionality. They care about the new functionality. They care about that new functionality can make their work lives better. If we think about this webinar, we used a number of ways to generate hype, to register and attend the event. We did this through email communications, word of mouth, postings to our social network, all with a slight taste of what to expect. As I touched on before, it is really handy if you have the connect functionality to get people talking about the release via a connect community also. That could be used. So video content is an extremely powerful communication medium when it comes to new releases. So please check out our last webinar on making the most out of the power of video. It shows a number of different styles of video that you can use in your comms, and that is really, really powerful. Very quick also to get your message across. Lastly, giving visibility to users of upcoming improvements you are currently testing is also very crucial to building hype. If people don't know that these improvements are coming or in the pipeline, they can't possibly get excited about it. So making that visible, which generally isn't visible in some organizations, is key to building that hype. So keeping it going. So once we deploy a new functionality out to the users and it's out in the wild, that's the end of the road. If you're nodding along, that's your sorry to break to, but it's not. So monitoring user adoption is an important step, as people like to know about how well something is going that they are a fan of. They want to know the success of the business or the success of the product, and they want to get that confidence that it's really good. My managing director, Michael Gazzarotto, put up an interesting post on LinkedIn the other day, which I took note of. He asked, what is the percentage of user adoption budget and effort that should we use pre-go live, and what percentage post-go live on a modern digital transformation project? From a quick calculation from 5 random projects over the past couple of years, we found that on average 97% of the budget and effort was used pre-go live. Michael also released in our last 2 proposals the percentage allocated pre-go live had reduced to an average of 72%. So there is an increasing need for more effort in user adoption and engagement post-go live to keep people engaged with the system. Monitoring and collecting data on engagement and user adoption post-release is important to help identify what needs to be added to future releases and provide statistics which we could be releasing when presenting new functionality. And this is kind of like how Apple will tell us that they've sold this many apps on the App Store just before they go and release some new functionality. So it gets you to really feel like Apple are doing so well, and now they're releasing some new functionality. And it gives more purpose to being at that event. So if you're holding a webinar to run through the new functionality of your new release of Cornerstone or your talent management system, you can reflect back on previous releases and say how well they were implemented. So just like when we first implemented the talent management system, in most cases we use some pulse checks or surveys to go out and get those metrics. These are still a great way to get good quality metrics on user adoption. There are also some other ways, and I encourage you in this space to be really creative when it comes to pulling this information from the system, because depending on what it is that you're releasing, it changes. So for example, if we were releasing a new Connect community, for example, you could monitor views and report on that. If it was a new learning item, you could create a dashboard of registrations to date and then report on that in a future release. And also, just as a little FYI, there is a new planned product on the cards for Cornerstone called Cornerstone Engage, which is a continuous feedback survey platform which will enable organisations to capture and analyse and act upon real-time employee feedback. So it will allow for the creation of recurring continuous feedback campaigns to capture some regular satisfaction and engagement feedback from employees using their mobile or using the web app as well. So that's really exciting. And if you want to follow that journey, you can follow it on the Success Centre and follow the rolling roadmap, because I think that that's due to come out mid-next year at the moment. It's still very early stages, but something to look out for in that space. So 5 key takeaways from this presentation. The first one is make it your goal to create a loyal fan base for your talent management system. Continually improve on processes and the functionality you currently have, and include these updates within your releases as well. Making note of any suggestions that come out from the business and include them in your releases. Brand your releases to get people talking about them and excited about them, just like Android and Apple do. Shift the focus of releases from functionality and specifically the new things that Cornerstone are releasing to how they can benefit the users' lives. What will they be able to do now that they couldn't do before? And my last key takeaway is make sure you don't forget about adoption. Check in and report back on the update and on how the update has benefited the employees, so you can use this information in the next release to gain support. So I'd like to thank you all for your time today on this very historic day, or the first day of the Trump era. And if you have any questions at all, Claudia, have we got any questions that have come through on the chat?
Hi Dan, thanks for that awesome webinar. I can't see anything that's come through just yet, but maybe if you want to double check your side. But no, nothing yet.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions at all, feel free to, I'll unmute you. So we've got a couple of minutes for questions. And if there's no questions, feel free to log off, and I thank you for your time this morning. And if you do have any questions on how to go about your release management, feel free to contact us. There's our website there, futureknowledge.com.au, or you can drop us an email. We'll be happy to have a chat with you. Okay, looks like we're all done. Thanks for your time, everyone. Have a good day. Bye.